I don't like to focus on the negative first, but we should maybe focus on the negative first, and the negative, of course, being the companies that didn't fare so well in October. My first one that really comes to mind that sticks out is Ring of Honor. And man, how that company has fallen from being a 50% reason, and I do put the success of the G1 Supercard 50-50 on Ring of Honor and on New Japan. It was as much new Ring of Honor wrestlers on that card as there was New Japan wrestlers on that card. But that success of that card and selling out that building with that amount of people being there for that live house, which was amazing. He felt that Ring of Honor was really onto something. To their attendance figures recently, they went on a UK tour, I think, over the past week and a half or so as we record this, and they were struggling to fill out 500-seat houses right now.
Yeah, they weren't selling tickets. I know their Pennsylvania tour also was poor, maybe 10 to 15% capacity. England, they showed comparisons between last year and this year. Last year, they had a full house in the same house. This year, they were at 15-20% capacity.
I don't want to peg it on the elite taking off and grabbing their ball and going to AEW and starting up a new company and whatever, because there's still a lot of great wrestlers on the Ring of Honor roster. Matt Taven, Marty Scurll, and even the younger guys you got coming up now. Who's all there? The John Greshams, the Shane Taylors, you got
Flip Gordon,
etc. There's still huge stars over there. The problem is that I don't know. I think they're just suffering from an issue that WWE has suffered for years, and that's just bad creative.
Absolutely. They also relied a lot on New Japan talent for the last few years, which helped them become established. But now that New Japan Ring of Honor relation is kind of going stale, and they haven't worked together in a few months now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd like to find out exactly what happened with that relationship. If that was just a deal where something happened in the aftermath of the G1 Supercard that caused them to rip and kind of break apart, or if that was, just a ROH becoming a victim of its own success a little bit and trying to be a little bit more too ambitious than they already were, if that makes sense, going into the rest of the year at that point. As far as I know, Ring of Honor still with Sinclair. They still got major money behind them. I think the way that another factor we can look at too with their downfall is the way that they've treated and looked at this altercation with the fan in the Northwest there over the summer, with the whole fan Bully Ray Velvet Sky incident there, where the fan got pulled backstage and basically it was like a mafia style threatening session. Like Bully Ray was going to cut off a pinky or something like that.
I don't think it was that far.
I don't think it was that far, but you get what I'm saying, But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the start of the Ring of Honor problems. They had some talent that was going to be going to the Super Junior tournament that fell through. That kind of ended that New Japan. That was the last time New Japan Ring of Honor worked together. And then recently, Joey Mercury quit and went on a whole tirade.
I saw that.
Disclosing everyone's pay with the company.
I saw that, and some of the issues that he brought up during that was very eye-opening and almost, left people aghast. Like the whole Kelly Klein concussion thing, where she was okayed for a independent tour of South Africa while nursing a major concussion, is a little, in 2019 where concussions and CTE is a big thing. I found that quite shocking and quite not surprised, but kind of disappointed more than anything else with that. But it's not all bad things with Ring of Honor. It's just that they, I think, are suffering the most from AEW's launch, because I think that crowd, they haven't had a chance to evolve yet and kind of create, a standalone product that differs, that sets them off, because all the companies you had mentioned before have their own. I've noticed in the past month or so have their own take on the wrestling business that's a little bit different. Impact Wrestling has become quite quickly the trendy, cool, hip nightclub type wrestling. Again. Yeah.
They've been there before.
They've been there before, but this is a wheelhouse that they're comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. AEW, of course, speaks for itself. It's the Southern wrestling alternative to the crazy mainstream of WWE or so. WWE, of course, has its own deal, which we'll talk about later on as well. New Japan has its own deal, which we'll talk about later on as well. Each of these companies have their own kind of stand apart product. The problem is that I don't think being the independent, Ring of Honor is not the independent showcase promotion anymore.
Mm-mm.
I don't see it as such anyway, but
it's very bland to me. It's just not innovative. They've kind of been doing the same thing for 9 years, with no innovation. They'll just. How many Briscoe matches have we seen that they fight the same tag team champ over and over again?
Well, how many people are looking at this roster in Ring of Honor and are picking apart the roster, saying, "Oh, these guys would be great with the NWA. These guys would be great with AEW. These guys would be great on Impact." There's not one guy on that roster that you can look at and say, "Yep, that's the guy that Ring of Honor is going to build."
Absolutely, yeah.
Because the one guy that they did have that they had the belt on, Matt Taven, they just took the belt off of him.
Yep.
So there goes all your build that you had for 7 months, 8 months with him being the champion, and they pulled the belt off of him and that stuff because people were anticipating him to move. That's the thing, is that there was rumors going around it. Oh, he's going to Impact, or oh, he's being looked at by AEW. That's the
Yep, and it just doesn't. They put it on Rush, right?
Yeah. That was.
And then they ruined their relationship with the Mexican promotion there.
Yeah, with what was it, CMLL?
CML.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CMLL.
So they gave Rush the title, and then they ruined their relationship with CMLL because he had an exclusive with them until that changed.
Mm-hmm. So, man, it's how the mighty have fallen with that. I didn't even bother. I had last year myself, just speaking as a fan, I picked up in the summertime last year in anticipation to picking up, beat the box office tickets for the G1 Supercard. I joined the Honor Club just so I can get a discounted price on those tickets and that stuff, and first crack at them and everything, and it worked great. The problem is that their price for the package in Honor Club that I had chose went up drastically for this year, and there wasn't any renewal option for people from the year before or anything like that. It was, you're going to pay this price for a subpar product and you're going to like it. And I'm looking at everything else that's out there, New Japan World, NXT, WWE, and AEW, and I'm like, 119 or 129 for a premium Ring of Honor video library thing? I don't think so.
It's not even a video library. Like, I had it for a little bit, and they don't even have an archive section.
No. They have some old shows up, but they don't have a lot of them. That's it.
It just custom picked ones, and most of it's all single match archives.
Yeah, you can take a look at even recent events that I've covered on this channel for Nitro's Take. I've kind of phased out slowly covering Ring of Honor events and have replaced those. Honestly, I'd be happy to replace those with Impact, the way Impact's going, because I see Impact kind of trending upward here, especially after Bound for Glory. Like they've put on a excellent Bound for Glory show. It was one of the first Bound for Glories I remember in a long time that didn't have anything weird or stupid or show derailing on it. It was just one of those deals. Like, I mean, I'm so disconnected now from the Ring of Honor product that it would almost be like, you know, foreign to me to tune in to check it out. I might order Final Battle just to see what they've got, but there's not really any motivation to.
It's crazy to say, like, I wouldn't say a year from ago this time, but a year and a half ago this time, Ring of Honor was dominantly the second best company.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now they're trailing everyone. Like, for anyone who's kind of a major independent, I'd say they're last place right now.
Well, yeah, we were all thinking about them being a potential, like with a potential merger with New Japan or something like that, and New Japan being the alternative to WWE. And it's like, it's just how quickly within 12 months that the wrestling scene could change. Ultimately, that show that should have made them in New York, WrestleMania weekend, ended up being their downfall, because you look at the matches and match quality on that card that the New Japan people were putting out there, and you compare it to the matches and match quality that the Ring of Honor people were putting out there, and save the ladder match, which was fantastic, it was night and day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
absolutely.
Like, you're going to bring in Enzo and Cass at the end of a tag title match to potentially do a feud with the Briscoes, but you're going to do it in such a way where you're going to, and there's no way they could have known that this was going to happen, but you're blatantly mimicking what's happening with a legit situation on the WWE network at the same time at the Hall of Fame, with a fan, basically making it wasn't an attempt on Bret Hart's life, but still,
he wanted to make it for himself.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you go that route, and I mean,
but
probably
it's crazy to me that you do an angle with Enzo and Cass invading Ring of Honor, but then you don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Like, they came and they did something, and logic would say, okay, we're going to use these guys, they're going to keep invading our show and eventually put them in a match. Nope. We don't know who these two are, and they'll never be back.
That was the fans that nixed that. They got such a negative backlash online, and they hadn't even announced that Enzo and Cass had signed with Ring of Honor.
But that's good heat. But that's good heat.
Exactly. But the fans said, no, we don't want them on our TV, and so, other than take the good heat off of that to bring in like a heel team that could potentially, get you some buy rates for some pay-per-views going on and that stuff, Joe Koff and the rest of the ROH officials were like, oh my God, they're right. No, stay away. Forget it, And it's like, why? You guys just, wasted that effort and gave a prime spot away to potentially a younger team that you could have brought in or something at the same time and potentially do it, because you can't be telling me that otherwise that a lot of the same talent that AEW has now, Ring of Honor was looking at, like Santana and Ortiz and those guys and that stuff. So you can't be telling me that Ring of Honor, either put a offer out to them or they were looking at. So I mean, that's like a Jake Hager as well, right? So
they can't compete with what AEW has in the bank.
No, exactly. I and that's wild, because that's Sinclair. That's like an offshoot of Fox, but that shows you how deep pocketed the Khan family is, right? So we're talking about people who are richer than Fox. Let that sink in for a second. That's wild. But
they're legit billionaires, unlike Vinnie Mac.
Yeah. Now, I don't think Ring of Honor is in danger of folding anytime soon. I think that I think that we've pronounced Impact dead so many times, and they just keep, popping back up, that it's not worth even trying to, promote or forecast the death of the company or something like that. I
Ring
think
of Honor has money. Ring of Honor has Sinclair. They well, the only way they would kill him is Fox
I,
focused
I
entirely on SmackDown.
I think that Ring of Honor is in a desperate need of a of like a house cleaning from top to bottom, just their management, and then go forward from there. Like they could take notes from what Impact did, and I mean, like, Impact, as soon as they had the chance, they ditched, a lot of what they were doing and brought in Don Callis, brought in Scott D'Amore, and headquartered in Toronto, and it just exploded from there. And that was quite a twist over the past month too. Was Impact jumping in and not only kind of securing itself in the long run, but their parent company bought Access TV from Mark Cuban, and so they ended up like literally just platooning their show on their own network now at this point, and it's like, well, man, that's a great move in hindsight to do.
Well, they couldn't get a TV deal without buying the TV company itself.
So they bought a TV company.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting, because New Japan runs on that network too.
Yeah, they do. They've long since wanted Access TV to be their arm for their American expansion. So.
And we'll see what happens with that now, with because New Impact and New Japan don't have a healthy relationship still.
No, I don't think so. But could it be possible that somewhere down the line they have a healthy relationship or even a partnership going forward? Quite potentially, I think. I think
Guido just needs to get over the Okada thing and understand that was a different company at the time.
Yes, I think so. I don't think there's anybody left from that era still in Impact. I think they've either moved on to WWE or elsewhere or out of the industry. So, I think that obviously with Callis kind of spearheading things over there, he's got a great relationship with New Japan, and so on and so forth. I think that it would be. I could see them potentially maybe in the next few years or so working something out to, be maybe the new partnership if they decide to go that way. Hey, and New Japan's trying with these, North American shows to do something. It could be very interesting to see if they try another. When they do I think their next North American show is coming up here over the next month or so in.
They're going to California again.
Yeah, San Jose, right? So,
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if the same thing that happened in New York happens in San Jose with them. I would say.
It's interesting because some of their New Japan tour didn't go well. Like the Dallas tour didn't go well.
Yeah.
The Carolinas didn't go well.
Well, I'm talking about the blatant tampering of the show from outside influences, i.e., the lack of an ambulance in the building for the New York show and that stuff. And
I doubt it. I think because WWE's not in town, there's not going to be much conflict.
Yeah, I don't think that was WWE that caused that, though. I'm one that kind of falls under the auspices of either it being a legit paperwork miscommunication or people at Ring of Honor that also run the Manhattan Center getting involved in, doing that to New Japan, right? So, I don't know.
I'm thinking it's bigger. I know New York wasn't prepared for pro wrestling compared to like New Orleans when they had it, or even Houston when they have it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just
like you had firsthand experience down there.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: I've seen shows in the States in 3 different athletic state or athletic commission jurisdictions, I guess, and that stuff. It was for Mania weekend in 2014. It was the Louisiana State Athletic Commission, and they're quirky in their own way. The Florida State Athletic Commission in 2017 is kind of quirky in their own way. And then the New York State Athletic Commission is extremely quirky in their own way, almost to the point of holy crap, you guys know this is fake, right? Like, you have wrestling fans legit going up to New York State athletic officials themselves and saying, guys, this is choreographed. You guys can chill, right? But yeah,
you got to remember, MMA wasn't legal in New York till a few years ago.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's only like 2 or 3 years ago, exactly. So, but yeah, no, it's completely wild. And then if you go and see an event out in Phoenix and that stuff, it's like, oh, it's a show. It's like, does the West Coast get it and the East Coast don't? I mean, like, that's weird, you know?
I've listened to the Sirius radio station, like the Fight one, where they talk about wrestling. They have some interesting callers there from the South, so it wouldn't surprise me if half the East Coast thinks it's real.
Mm-hmm. It's still real to them, damn it.